The other cards I just put off to the side. I never really use them, but they're there. But the real reason to have all of these credit cards isn't necessarily to keep a high credit line, even though that's nice. The real reason is to get those sweet, sweet bonus points.
What I do is I personally remove 99.9% of my risk out of my life by doing one simple thing. I use a credit card. Literally, credit card. I don't care, American Express, Visa, MasterCard, Discover. Preferably one that pays me something back. And every day, I put everything on that card. Go get dry clean, put it on the card. Buy groceries, put it on the card. Park the car, put it in the car. Get in the plane, park in the car. Hotel, car. I buy something online, people say to me, are you worried about buying? No, I'm not about buying on a credit card. I'm not worried about buying it. If someone looks over my shoulder, steals my number, charges $1 million on my credit card, by federal law, I'm not liable for one dime. I use a credit card. I go buy an item in a store, a vase. I see it on display at the store. A guy says, well, I already have this boxed up. Okay, I'll take that. I go back, open it, it's got a crack in it. I go back, hour later, got home, opened this, had a crack. Well, how do I know you didn't drop that? No, I didn't drop it. Had this crack in it when I got it home. I'm not giving your money back. I have to sue him in small claims court. But on my credit card, I just say, well, fine, you don't want to get the credit card bill, I'll just cross through that, dispute that, you can deal with the credit card company. I don't care. And off I go. I have zero liability. Every day I use a credit card, I up my credit score. I use my debit card, I do nothing for my credit. Absolutely nothing. I use my credit card, I raise my credit score. I lift the liability to somebody else. I don't worry about buying something online. I don't worry if something happened. It's a credit card deals with that issue. I had 3 sons that went off to college. I said to them, I'm not giving you a debit card. I'm giving you a supplemental card off of my credit card. It'll have your name on it, but it'll be my account. And every month, I will get the bill. For 2 reasons. One, so that I can see how you spend your money every day, if you're spending too much time in the bar, etc. But 2, every month I pay the bill, your credit score is going to go up. All 3 sons came out of college with scores well in the 750s or higher on their credit score because it reflected my payments for 5, 6 years that they were in college. So I gave them an incredible tool. They came out of school able to buy their own home, buy a car, without me having to turn around and co-sign a note for them.
Now, one other tip I'll give you is I don't own a debit card. I've never owned one. I've never allowed my 3 sons to possess one. Certainly and truly the worst financial tool ever given to the American consumer. So a long time ago, I asked myself a simple question: how would I remove 99.9% of my personal liability like that? Because I really don't want to worry about all these things. So I use the safest form of payment that exists on the face of the earth, and that is a credit card. Credit card. Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover card. Not debit credit, but credit card. Every day of my life, I spend their money. I don't spend my money. My money sits in a money market account. It earns interest. Actually, nobody knows where it is because it's not exposed to anybody to find it. It's just sitting there. I go to the dry cleaner, I give them my card. I pick up the groceries, I give them my card. I put fuel in my boat on the weekend, I use my card. I pay the marina to keep my boat in the water all year long. They put the rent on my credit card. I travel all over the world. While I wait to get reimbursed, I use my credit card. If I need euros, I go to the ATM machine, I use my credit card. I'm not going to use my debit card to get euros overseas or pounds in Great Britain. And every day I use my card, and then if I pay the bill in full or part of the bill, my credit score goes up. So I'm building credit while I'm using that credit card. And if tomorrow, and I'll do everything to protect my information, but if tomorrow someone gets my card number and charges $1 million on my credit card by federal law, my liability is 0. I have no liability. So yes, I love to shop online. I don't use a special card, I just use my credit card. If they don't deliver the merchandise, if they deliver it and it's broken, If the host site I went to was fictitious to begin with, I have zero liability. When you use your debit card, every time you reach for it, you're exposing the money in your account. The only person who's going to get robbed is you. When you use your debit card, you could use it for the next 50 years, 20 times a day. You will not raise your credit score by that much. And of course, when you use your debit card, you are liable up to a certain amount, and it takes a while in order to get that debit card fixed. So when we do post investigations at breaches, and we say to someone, on your incident, what happened? Well, I was in Target, but I used a Visa card, so I don't know, nothing. They canceled my card the next day. 2 days later, FedEx sent me a new card, and that was the last I heard about it. What about you? And I used a debit card there that took $3,000 out of my checking account. It took me 2 months to get my money back while they said they were investigating. I had to pay my rent, had kids' tuition, everything. I couldn't pay it because they had my money. So I do it for that. So I had 3 sons that went off to college, and I said to them, I'm not giving you a debit card. I've actually applied for a credit card in your name. So it's your card. Of course, you're 18, you have no credit, so I guaranteed the card. So as the guarantor of the card, 3 things take place. 1, the bill comes to me and I'm responsible for the bill. So if you spend a lot of time in the bar, I'm going to know that. 2, I set the limit on the card. So whatever I want you to spend each month, just while you're at school, I'll set that limit. 3rd, every month that I pay the bill goes on your credit. So by the time you get out of college, you should be looking at a credit score of about 800. You want to buy a car, buy a house, buy a condo, you're not going to need me to do that. All 3 of my sons came out of college with scores of around 800. One of the best things you can do for your kids is to teach them to learn to use credit early on and build credit in their name. Credit is a very important thing. 30 years ago, it only meant whether you got the car or you got the house. Today, everything is based on your credit. If a company hires you, they're going to check your credit. If you buy auto insurance, they're going to check your credit. You buy life insurance, they're going to check your credit. Everything is based on your credit, so you want to make sure that you maintain a good credit. It's one of the best things you can do with your kids.
I recommend that everybody have at least 2 credit cards. The first credit card is one that has a very low limit, let's say $2,000, and that's the number you use on all the online services. If they get hacked, nobody can spend more than $2,000. That's how you protect yourself. The other card is the one you use when you actually buy things that are not online, and perhaps those purchases can be much more expensive. You need both. One that's out there and one that's private. That's the way to do it. And by the way, make both of them cash back. Forget about affinity points. There's so much inflation in that, you get less and less every year for the points. Get the cash back. That's the way to go.
Like the borrower is slave to the lender.
Oh, but I use credit cards to get my miles.
You actually think you're going to take on a multi-billion-dollar company who studies your behavior more than you study your behavior and come out on the right end of this stick. That doesn't make you sophisticated. That makes you blatantly stupid. Think about it. Did you know the credit card is the most aggressively marketed product in the history of humankind? Nothing has been sold to anyone in any culture in any kind of a volume close to the credit card. No product line or service has had anywhere near as much money spent on marketing and sophistication to sell it to you. Hundreds of millions of dollars a year is spent to sell you this product. And then you're so stupid that you think you're going to get away with using it for free. Americans owe almost $1 trillion in credit card debt. 78% of you that use credit cards do not pay it off every month. That means only 22% do. When you use a credit card to purchase something, On average, studies have shown, several pieces of research, that you spend more money. The average is 12 to 20% more that you spend. Now, depending on the item, the size of the item, the process that you're using, you may or may not spend more than that or less than that. An example is that the average person using a credit card at a vending machine spends 178% more, meaning they get a Coke and a candy bar and a bag of chips, where they were just going to get a Coke. When you use a credit card, it reduces the emotional friction, and that's why everyone wants you to use plastic. Yes, you do spend more when you use a credit card. It's just a matter of how much more.